and before.
Right,
Hey,
boss.
No, we're going to talk after.
No,
You go and get a coffee, boss.
We're just finishing now.
Oh, you just said
Yeah, don't worry, this is not for you.
It's not for you. We're going to get a bit of food with you after. You've not dressed for the camera, boss, have you? You're not dressed up for the cameras.
Grab a quick coffee, boss, and we'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah, I'll settle with you.
Did you think this was for you?
I just wonder what's in the nonsense you've done.
He's behind us, so I can't say too much. But what was he like for you? How important was the manager for you?
No, massive. I think when
We'll get back to Carrick in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments, and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this clip, the great Michael Carrick is going to be talking about none other than Paul Pogba and his relationship with the great Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager of all time. And stick around for after the clip, because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on those two people, and including Michael Carrick and everything that he has said in this clip. Anyway, here he is.
Another player I wanted to talk about, because I think it's important that people understand, like, you as a coach as well, and the impact you had on players. And a quote here from Paul Pogba. He told me how running without the ball can make the difference in the game. I call them the Lampard runs, getting into the box, and that helps a lot. Sometimes I go to him and say, do you see something I can do better? And he helps me to improve. They seem to be from someone who really cared about football and wanted to improve all the time. Is that one of your memories of Paul?
Yeah, Paul was such a talented player, wasn't he?
Oh, man.
Like, I remember when he first came through and
He was a 17, 18-year-old.
yeah,
right?
and Scholesy just booted him most days, and he used to just kick him. But Paul never flinched, did he?
No.
He'd take the ball again, and over, and he had a natural gift with the ball. I think probably over the years was what his best position was, really, and it was a constant kind of trying to evolve with that of trying to put him in a position where you can affect the game the most, and he'd done it in different ways at different times. Played further forward, played deeper, and depending on the game. But he had such a natural gift for football that some of the things he did, not many people could do.
Yeah, when you talk about Scholesy or Giggs in terms of passing and affecting the game in a moment, I think he's up there with them guys. It's just the consistency, I think, was the thing that, like, he had the consistency at Juventus, but we didn't really see it at United. But you saw moments that you went, that is super elite.
Yeah, there's definitely moments with Paul where you go, that was special. There's the two parts of it of kind of how you judge a player, I suppose. And in these moments, some of the things he did was absolutely fantastic. And then there's the consistency, like you put up like Giggs or Scholesy and play for so long, that kind of getting that level of performance week in, week out. It's kind of two different things, really. And Paul certainly had the moments.
Listen, he's coming back now. Hopefully we see some glimpses.
Yeah, it'll be
again.
interesting to see how he comes back, because he's a bit older now as well, and having a bit of time off, it might help him. It might be fresh. He might come back, and all of a sudden we might see all sorts of things from him. It'll be interesting to see.
Now and before.
Right,
Hey,
boss.
No, we're going to talk after.
No,
You go and get a coffee, boss.
We're just finishing now.
Oh, you just said
Yeah, don't worry, this is not for you.
It's not for you. We're going to get a bit of food with you after. You've not dressed for the camera, boss, have you? You're not dressed up for the cameras.
Grab a quick coffee, boss, and we'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah, I'll settle with you.
Did you think this was for you?
I just wonder what's in the nonsense you've done.
He's behind us, so I can't say too much. But what was he like for you? How important was the manager for you?
No, massive. I think when just coming and when I was speaking to him before I came, and in the phone calls, and there was that kind of feeling of, I don't say intimidation, but respect of aura and understanding of, like, this is a hell of an opportunity, for me for the fact that he even wants me was like, and then I think just coming into the environment as much as anything really for me. When I came in, first day or two and being around him and speaking to him, and I'm speaking to him more now than I probably did when I was playing, because there was no need, there was not really any need at that point, and I was always one that if he was happy, regardless of anything else, the boys are happy, he was happy, I'm absolutely sound. I don't care what else is going on around the outside, anything, ups, downs, whoever's saying anything, don't give one thing about that.
It's weird because even the England manager, you didn't really. I was like, as long as Carrington's fine, Old Trafford's fine. Yeah.
Gaz Nev said about living on an island at once, didn't he? He says it's like living on an island, and it literally is. It's like no one else matters. There was no distractions from the outside, and then that come from the boss. You know, that was the way it was. And then the boys were around him for so long, just fed off it. And in the end, it was the boys that ran the dressing room, really. And you come into that environment, but literally, I never really had to speak to him. I went in his office about. I was 7 years. I played with him. I probably went in his office 3 or 4 times. It was never a thing really. I didn't need to, as long as I was in the team and I was playing, and a little bit here and there on the training ground, and obviously team talks and things that you remember. That was enough for me.
You're probably one of the only people, you and Scholesy, that never got a hairdryer off him. Isn't it?
He gave me one actually.
Did he?
Yeah, I remember it. Do you remember the Club World Cup away, Tokyo, the final Club World Cup in Japan?
No.
I remember we went down to 10 men, didn't we? We won 1-0. The only thing I remember about that tip was Berber with his mask on.
Berber, we almost lost Berber on that trip. He was ill.
He never come back.
Oh, but we went on that trip and it's like he got COVID before COVID was a thing, wasn't it? We lost him for 3 days.
But I remember half time in that one, and I need to ask him about that. That was the reason why, actually, because
he just verbally assaulted.
Yeah, he just went for me. Yeah. And I remember a couple of lads go, "That was a bit harsh," whatever reason it was. But that was fine. I was all right with that. I had no problem at all. But there were certain lads got away with it. Certain lads he kind of used and probably used them to hit other boys as well. But I remember there was one at Arsenal actually after we lost at Arsenal. Remember we lost at the Emirates and the guy come in to do the drugs. Do you remember that one? We lost the last minute.
Yeah, the geezer got destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah.
You took one in Bayern as well, didn't you? Remember I was sat next to you.
Yeah.
I was sat next to you. I remember that one.
I kept chirping back and then he kept spitting on me.
Leave it.
No, but I think it's like you say, you only get through them moments, and the team doesn't get to stabilise with moments like that. Because other clubs, I think like that's like a moment that lasts a month.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like it happens.
Gone. Yeah.
24 hours, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? Because for the betterment of the team.
Yeah, and if you're going to do a game in 3 days, once that next game's all getting prepared for and out of the way, that whatever's happened 4 days ago, totally irrelevant. You just bang on. Whether you've just even with the Carabao Cups and things like that, you'd win it, and it was parked. It was just like, what's next? And it wasn't even a thing. So good or bad, it was always just parked, done. See you later. That's it. Move on. And we probably never enjoyed it as much. The wins, probably didn't actually enjoy it, but I don't think you keep winning if you enjoy it too much. And I'd take keep winning then.
Yeah, I'd take that all day long.
All day long, rather than a big celebration for ages and making the most of it, and then all of a sudden you don't win again.
You know what? The thing is with Paul Pogba, I mean, what is there more to say about Paul Pogba than what already has been said by various people in various platforms, and by the man himself probably as well? I mean, there's not much, but do you know what? I'm going to say something that I don't think I've said before, and that is, I mean, people talk about Ferguson Alex Ferguson did the right thing by getting rid of him first time round. And do you know what? Looking back, that might not necessarily have been the case, because Paul Pogba played his best football when he was at Juventus. And they reckon that the main reason why he played his best football while he was at Juventus is because he was surrounded by seasoned pros that kept him in check and that stopped him being lazy and that always pushed him and always challenged him consistently all day, every day, in training and during games. And because of that, it instilled the discipline in Paul Pogba to be able to thrive and play at his best football, to play his best football in Serie A and win titles, get to a Champions League final, and then obviously ultimately win the World Cup with France. And then obviously when he went to Man United, when he went back to Man United, he went there, well, for most of his time as being, top dog, really. And he's just not that kind of player that should be top dog, because he didn't seem to challenge himself. He didn't seem to want to get better and better, because he was so supremely talented. He could kind of sort of ride matches, so to speak, and then every now and then he'd do a bit of magic, and then maybe he'd score a goal or he'd do a killer pass or something like that. But he played his best football for Manchester United in the first 18 months or something like that. But anyway, I digress. Now, going back to my initial point, when I think it was 2012 when he left Man United, and there was something about Mino Raiola wanted more money than what Alex Ferguson wanted to pay, and so he left and went to Juventus because they were going to pay the money, they're going to give him insurances for first team football, blah 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 blah. But if he'd stayed at United, he'd have had a good 18 months with players like Giggs, Scholes, Rooney, Van Persie, Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Patrice Evra. Just to name a few, and they would have kicked him into shape, basically. And he could have learned from them. And then by the time Fergie did leave, then maybe we would have had a seasoned sort of top-level central midfielder, which is what we were crying out for back then. I remember for years, we were trying... Well, the fans were crying out for someone to replace Paul Scholes. We were talking about getting Wesley Sneijder in for years. But Ferguson, for some reason, just wouldn't bite the bullet and get a top-level central midfielder. And that was the first thing that David Moyes wanted to buy. And what did he buy? Marouane Fellaini! You could argue we didn't really buy a top-level midfielder until we bought Bruno Fernandes, really. Mind you, all of the signings post-Fergie have been hideous, really. Vast majority of them anyway. But yeah, and just leading on to what Michael Carrick and Rio said there about it being an island, and that all they cared about was Fergie happy, and were the boys happy, was Carrington happy. If Paul Pogba had grown up in that environment, I think it would have been a different kettle of fish. But the fact that he went away and became a big cheese, and then came back as a big cheese, I think that was sort of the beginning of the end for Paul Pogba. And don't forget, he pretty much completed football by the time he came back to United, winning the World Cup. He'd already played a Champions League final, and he come back to United. He was always on a big wedge at United as well. So I don't know. And as we've seen with Marcus Rashford, sometimes once you're getting that big bumper payday, it's hard to kind of keep on challenging yourself unless you're naturally sort of wired to consistently want to be the best. But then, once you've won the World Cup and you kind of are the best, how do you keep on challenging yourself? Not everyone can be Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi or Roy Keane or any of these guys who consistently want to be the best that they can possibly be. So, I don't know. I think it was... I think a big part of Paul Pogba leaving first time round was, I don't think Sir Alex liked Mino Raiola. In fact, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain he didn't. From what I read in his biography, I think he described them both as being oil and water. They just weren't going to mesh, and he just didn't like Mino Raiola's negotiation tactics. And he was fiercely protective of his players, was Mino Raiola. Ferguson was always fiercely protective of Manchester United, and he was fiercely protective of the United players once they kind of surrendered to the Manchester United brand and the Alex Ferguson way. But until they did that, after the contract was signed, Ferguson, was very, very cautious when it came to negotiations, and he was always going on about there was no value in the transfer market, But hey ho, I mean, it is what it is. It's interesting looking back on these sort of times like under Fergie, because United were the trendsetter back then, It's really weird. Whereas now we've just been lagging behind for a long time. Yeah. And it only seems like 2 minutes ago sometimes as well, listening to Michael Carrick talk about what it was like to be the best. And now Man United are trying to get back to that now under Rumour Amorim. And they have been trying to sort of get back to winning ways for a decade now. It's just, I don't know. It's a strange time being a Manchester United fan. But hey ho, what can you do? But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think Paul Pogba would have succeeded more at Manchester United had he stayed under Fergie and he'd signed that contract? And would he have had a better career? What do you think? Thoughts in the comments. And the Big D, we'll see you in the next one.